podcast. We're on location at the Sigal Museum in downtown Easton, talking about Lehigh Valley Passport to History Month, which is July. Passport to History Month features 5 weekends of fun with 36 historic sites that have signed up to open their doors for free tours, activities, and programs for visitors of all ages. Visit lvhistory.org for more information, all the information about dates, location, times, and more. Today we talk to Megan Van Ravensway, Executive Director, Northampton County Historical and Genealogical Society, the Sigal Museum, Daphne Mayer, Director of the National Canal Museum, and Sharon Aston, a volunteer at Historic Easton Cemetery. We're going to talk about what is planned not only for Passport to History Month in Easton, but also what's on tap for Heritage Day in Easton, which is on July 10th. And thank you to our sponsors, made possible in the Lehigh Valley. The Lehigh Valley is rich with possibilities, a proud heritage, and bright future that has long attracted makers, innovators, and those with great vision. Everything you need to create the life you want on your terms, vibrant downtowns, charming main streets with surprises around every corner, and lots of open places to explore, live, work, learn, play, discover all that's made possible in the Lehigh Valley at LehighValleyMadePossible.com. Also, Molly's Irish Grill and Sports Pub, of course, and Michael Bernardin with Remax. Find Mike and you're going to find your next dream home. And now let's get to it at the Sigal Museum. Make sure you watch the video episode of this as well. We were on site. It was a lot of fun. Let's go. So this is fun. No, this is fun. We're at the Sigal Museum. This is beautiful. I haven't been able to be here for a while. At least I haven't been, and I'm so excited. My daughter's already running around doing a lot of fun stuff. So I wanted to say thank you guys again to Sharon, Daphne, and Megan for coming on to talk about not only Heritage Day, but also Passport to History, Lehigh Valley Passport to History Month. And it's a little bit, well, you know what? First, we're going to start out with talking about Sigal because we're here and it's beautiful. And I want you to give Megan the opportunity to talk a little bit more about it. So can you tell us what's going on at Sigal and what is coming up for you during Passport to History Month and Heritage Day? And I know you're going to talk a little bit about what Heritage Day is.
Lots of questions there, George. Thank you for all that.
All right.
So indeed, we are in the Sigal Museum. We are sitting in the Schrin Gallery of Sigal Museum, and I'm glad that you're getting to experience This Is Another American's Autobiography. This is a really important exhibition for us. It actually closes on July 10th, which is Heritage Day. So Heritage Day for us is an exciting day, but it's kind of sad because we've been living with this beautiful exhibition for so very long. We hope folks come out and see it. This is with the Petrucci Family Foundation's collection of African American art, but this is just one of the many things currently on view at Sigal. We have multiple permanent gallery spaces to enjoy, and of course there's the Discovery Room. I think I can hear your daughter. So there's dress up, all sorts of activities here for everybody in the entire family. So if you want me to go into...
Yeah, let's talk about this Heritage Day is a little unique, but for those who aren't familiar, can you talk about what Heritage Day is?
Sure. So it's very unique to Easton. We actually get to celebrate a really cool anniversary. So go all the way back to 1776, July 8th. At Center Square, which you can see out the window, the original Declaration of Independence was read here just a few days after the original was crafted in Philadelphia. So we're very honored that we are one of the very early sites that it was read. So this festival is to celebrate that. It's heritage, but it's everybody's heritage. So it doesn't matter if you've been a founding family, since 1752, or if you just moved here yesterday from Costa Rica. It's a celebration of everybody's heritage here in Easton. So it's a really fun day, July 10th, and it's hosted by our friends at GEDP. Their website is heritageday.org.
And for that, you could, get more of the specific information of what to look for. And Passport to History Month is, it extends beyond that. But I know, Daphne, you were going to talk a little bit about what is Passport to History Month.
So the Lehigh Valley Passport to History Consortium is over 50 organizations now with some sort of connection to our region's history. And the Passport to History Month is our way of celebrating that and encouraging people to come out and visit some of these places. Many of our partners are smaller historical societies that are mostly volunteer run, and their sites may not be open very often. So this is a way to get people out to some of these little known places that are just true hidden gems in our region. So it's the entire month of July, all of the weekends. And as it happens, Easton Heritage Day just happens to fall on one of them. And the sites in Easton have decided to make that our signature weekend.
That makes sense, right? You're already celebrating. So kind of to reiterate that, Heritage Day is July 10th. And
Yes.
Lehigh Valley Passport to History Month is the entire month of July, but the Easton specific stuff is going to happen the 9th and 10th.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so let's get into what's going on individually. Sharon, we were talking briefly. I know I gotta get better at doing my Bob Barker. We were talking before we started filming about your involvement with the Easton Cemetery. It's really unique because we were saying how I walk through Niskey Hill near where I live in Bethlehem with my daughter, my wife. And many people do. It's something that you're looking at history, but it's also very peaceful and relaxing and interesting. Genealogy. It's really exciting. So your space, the cemetery, may not be traditionally thought of somewhere where people are going to go for events, but on the contrary. Yeah, can you talk a little bit about your involvement and then also what people can expect?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm Sharon, and I'm one of the volunteers at the historic Easton Cemetery, and we are an example of one of the members of Passport for History, okay? So we have over 29,000 residents up in the cemetery, and it was founded back in 1850, so it's very historic. But we have a lot going on up there during Heritage Day weekend and Passport for History weekend. We have, of course, docent-led tours, so if you want to come up and take a tour of the cemetery and learn about the historic residents, I highly encourage it because the volunteers there are very educated, so they're going to be giving tours on the hour both days of the weekend. I am also, and the way I got involved in the cemetery was through the Master Gardener program at Penn State. Yeah, you go, why would she be doing gardening in the cemetery? Well, we have a bunch of graves that are called French graves, and what they are small raised beds over the grave. So we have started a program with the Master Gardeners, and we have done a lot of education and have gotten a lot of volunteers from the community that come up and garden and maintain the graves. And we give them information. It's all about education with the Penn State Extension on native plants that were maybe indigenous to the area back at the turn of the century. And we've had just a blast learning about the people who are in the graves too. So we're gonna have folks up there from the Master Gardener program that weekend. So if you wanna come up and learn about some native plants and some history of the residents. Last but not least, brand new organization we've started to partner with, which you're familiar with, Paza for Life, which is a nonprofit, and their mission is to promote indigenous cultures. So they too will be up there partnering with us. They are going to have drum circles, they're going to have cultural displays, and they are also going to have a native plant sale with a firm called Plant Magic. So tons of stuff going on.
So, it makes sense. Like, the cemeteries are some of the most beautiful spots in Easton. And
we are the largest green space in Easton.
And it's not. I used to give ghost tours in Bethlehem, and the Moravians, they had all of their tombstones were flat because it was a democracy of death. I'm gonna get all this. So don't get mad at me. I'm getting sorry. But they didn't fear death. Like, it was almost like usually like a picnic area.
It was back at the turn of the century. It was the social aspect of town. Folks would picnic and go up there for concerts on Memorial Day, and it was very vibrant. So we're coming along. We want to get it back to where it used to be.
And is there anywhere where people? Yeah, actually, we'll do this at the end. We'll make sure that people can find out where they can find.
Yeah, we have plenty of those sites.
We'll do that all.
Okay.
I'll steal this back from you. Let's go and talk about what's going on specifically for. No, we'll go to Daphne. because we kind of skipped over you there in the beginning. So what is going to be going on specifically? And talk about what's going on now with DNL and what's going on Heritage Day, and if there's any other events for Passport to History Month. Basically, whatever you would like to share, please go ahead.
So yes, I'm Daphne. I'm from the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor, which operates the National Canal Museum here in Easton in Humor Park, which is another lovely green space for people to come and enjoy. And we're going to be participating with the Passport to History Month as well on Sunday, July 10th. And we're making the museum free that day. Yes, everyone loves free admission. And a reduced $5 boat ride on our mule-drawn canal boat, the Josiah White II. So that runs at 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m. And it's a wonderful 45-minute ride, nice leisurely
I have been
cruise.
on that. Actually, we were talking that video I did a million years ago. That part of it, and you do learn so much. Even somebody who thinks they know it all about local history, you do not, because there's a lot of really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. The canals in the sort of the early industrial era are kind of overlooked a bit within this region, but they really laid the foundations for the Industrial Revolution, not just in our region, but for the entire country. And it's something that should be celebrated and known more widely. So we're preaching to the choir I know, but we love to just involve visitors in that whole history and get them excited about their region.
And it's kind of like living history in a way too, since when you're on the Josiah White, that's how it would have been pulled, and it's kind of reliving that as you're going along. So
absolutely, it's the same mode of transportation that they were using back in the 1820s, and they were doing that straight up into the 1940s, believe it or not. So they never used motorized boats on the Lehigh and Delaware canals. So it's a way just to step back in time. And then we also have a special exhibit, like the Sigal Museum. Our annual exhibit this year is called Beyond Rosian Rivets, Industrial Women in the DNL Corridor. And it's a celebration of the contributions of women to the industries in our region, which sadly is often overlooked. When we talk about industries, we often hear about either the founding men who created some of these places, the Charles Schwabs, the Whartons, and the rest. But we don't really hear about the women. And when we do hear about workers, they're usually men. So we wanted to tell that story, and we also wanted to get beyond the Rosian Rivets story. A lot of people have heard about how women stepped up during wartime and worked in places like Bethlehem Steel. But it wasn't just then, it was before and after. So we really wanted to showcase some of the industries where women had a huge role.
Okay, yeah, looking forward to that. And Megan, I wanted to make sure that we circled back to then talk about what's going on specifically here. So can you talk about, for Heritage Day, what's going on at Sigal, and also for Lehigh Valley Passport Month?
Sure, absolutely. So again, it's July 10th, and please visit heritageday.org for the GEDP's full listing of activities. But at this moment, on today's date, I understand it opens at 11:30, goes until 6 p.m. at night. I want to say the Declaration of Independence reading is at noon that day.
Really unique.
So cool.
It's like one of those things you need to experience once.
Yeah.
Like if somebody hasn't seen a town crier or doesn't quite know what that is, it's unique because it's not something that exists much anymore.
Yeah, and I won't, give you a spoiler here, but what you will come to understand is there were people within the crowd, some people agreed with it and some people didn't agree with it. So at the reading, you're actually going to see the dynamic of supporters and not supporters of the Declaration of Independence.
Very timely.
Yeah, so that's my teaser. So please come out for that. But there's great music, great food. There's tents with vendors and all sorts of different activities. There's going to be a kids tent as well. So it's truly for all different ages. Come on out, enjoy. But here at NCHDS, Northampton County Historical and Genealogical Society, we have many sites. Sigal is one of them. This is our flagship site. So this will be open for free for Heritage Day. Please come in, enjoy our museum store, enjoy the exhibitions. Then our 3 other historic sites will be open for a small charge. It's $5 for a wristband to get into everything. So that's the Jacob Nicholas House, that's our Meixel Illich House, and then the 1752 Bachman Public House is also going to be open. So there will be docents stationed at each site. There's tours, there's activities, and we're especially pleased if you haven't driven by Bachman Public lately. We're putting a new roof on it. Very exciting project. So you'll be some of the first visitors to Bachman Public with her new $140,000 roof. So please go enjoy it.
What's it made out of?
Gold.
Really? As I say, that wouldn't last very long.
No. It's wood shakes, to answer your question seriously.
I wouldn't be surprised. So I didn't clear this with you guys prior, before we go into, how everyone can find out more information about you. I'm curious about your own, what you're interested in historically that isn't what you represent. I don't know, is that tough to put you on the spot for that? Are there places like in the Lehigh Valley that you just find unique that are interesting to you that aren't, where you necessarily work at? Like, I think of that just because I brought up God's Acre in Bethlehem that I just find so interesting. I don't know. Is that a stumper, or do you guys have one? Or?
I'll give you a quick answer and let you get better answers. So I'm not from Pennsylvania. I moved here about 15 years ago. So I was blown away by Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania history, and we love the sound of kids in the museum, by the way.
I don't mind it.
This is why we do what we do, right, ladies? But so I really just get fascinated by Pennsylvania history and how it relates to the world. Like to Daphne's point, not just the nation, but just worldwide history. But as a fun little teaser, my big history nerd things are for George Washington. Love him, and I love ceramics. So, I love all of our history, but if I can nerd out in one area, it's about ceramics. I love it.
What is it about George Washington?
Well, so it's a weird thing. We're really gonna show this,
I don't
aren't we?
You have like a painting of him in your room? I don't know.
Yeah. My screensaver is George. Well, yeah. It's weird. You asked, right?
Okay,
So here we are. Here we
you
are.
opened the door.
No, I think he's fascinating. I don't believe in ancestor worship. Like, these men were very flawed characters, our founding fathers. Yeah, they were human. They were doing some wrong things, in our mind. But I think I fell in love with him when, as a leader, like seeing how he managed himself as a leader with his flaws and with his strengths. But what really got me was when you learn about how in love with Martha he was, and he was way busy, yet he's taking the time to write her love letters. I just found that so moving. It was like the perfect balance between work and life. So that's my weird little thing. No pressure, Daph.
Mine isn't quite that amusing.
The guy named John Allen.
He's mine.
No, I was going to say that I love ruins. I love finding them. I love visiting them. And fortunately, our region has plentiful amounts of them. So everywhere from, the ironworks in Lockridge Furnace out near Albertus, there's canal ruins up and down the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor. Some of the old locks are just amazing. These big stone parallel walls, 20, 25 feet high. So that is what gets me excited, is trying to find those. And I participate in a hobby called geocaching. And that leads me...
many of those in the cemetery.
Absolutely. It leads me to a lot of these places because, you're able to actually have GPS coordinates that'll take you right there, and then you're on a little bit of a treasure hunt. So that's what excites me.
Did you think of one? I know I put you guys on the spot.
Yeah, no, I actually have two. So even though I'm a Jersey girl and grew up in New Jersey, went to school at Lafayette, but my ancestor, my great-great-great-grandfather, fought at the Battle of Gettysburg, and he won a Congressional Medal of Honor in the Battle of Wilderness. So I have huge ties to Civil War history here in Pennsylvania. He fought for the Union. He was mustered in Scranton with the 143rd Pennsylvania Volunteers. So my parents, particularly my father, have dragged me through every aspect of the Battle of Gettysburg. So that was cool. But now, recently, as I'm retired now, I'm going to nerd out too. I have really gotten into native plants historically. So how did plants come over here? Where did they come from? Thomas Jefferson fascinates me, so he's my crush.
Okay.
His gardens, he was, I think, one of the first folks that had tomatoes.
Wow.
Because they brought them over from Europe. So this whole research around plant history, that's why I'm a nerd and a master gardener, just fascinates me. So that's my tip.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, and it's a big movement.
Did you know that George Washington was the first person to create mules in the U.S.?
I believe it.
Yeah. Yes.
So he can do no wrong.
So you have to cross a horse and a donkey to get a mule, and that just wasn't done in the U.S. prior to George taking it up. And he got a pair of two mules from the King of Spain, and imported them in. And apparently these were fine specimens. And so he crossbred them with horses and created the first mules here in the U.S.
How long does that, if you're sending a letter to the King of Spain, well, how do they even verify? That stuff blows my mind. That you could get, I understand, you could get a shipment over, okay, but the communication aspect of it, it just is crazy. My I guess it's not a crush, but I like the Lafayette story at the Red Stag, McCarthy's in Bethlehem. The owner always tells it about how Lafayette had to convalesce there. He was injured at the Battle of Brandywine. He was at the Sun Inn, but they kicked him out for whatever reason. And then he was the one woman who was there, the daughter of the farmer, Liesel, fell in love with him. But then he was I guess no, and he went back home, and then she died, very sad. So if you sleep overnight there, you'll feel someone coming into bed with you. Well, that I told that story, whoever listens to that, you'll be that is the worst retelling of that story ever. But it's so neat because it's this down the street from where we live. It's part of the history. So I guess we can go back down the line again and just kind of, as we finish here, talk about, again, what you're looking forward to on Heritage Day. Of course, Lehigh Valley Passport to History Month. Again, we want people to go to Passport to History, is it
History.org.
lvhistory.org. I apologize. All of the links are in our show notes too. So if you were looking for any of these, whatever you're watching this on, the links are below it. So we want to make sure that you go there because there are so many other things that are going on for the entire month at, in Nazareth, in Bethlehem, all over, the Lehigh Valley. So we're in Easton today, but we're using this as a way to promote the month itself. So please make sure that you head and look at all the other places because there's probably one down the road from you. So, but yeah, can we kind of go through, what you're looking forward to and then how people can find out more information about your specific organization?
Absolutely. Well, and to your point, we're so grateful to be part of the Passport to History group. I have the honor of being the chair. I was actually in the room when it was founded over 10 years ago at this point. So it's a great group. This is our big event of the year, as Daphne mentioned, and we're over 50 plus partners at this point. So we are in 2 different states, 9 different counties, and it's historical societies, museums, entities. I'm not aware of another organization of this many historical entities that band together. We meet monthly. We have all these amazing virtual programs with you, but this is our big month. So we hope people come out and enjoy it. But we are really looking forward to having the historic buildings open again. We haven't had them open since before COVID. So getting them open again, getting people back in is going to be so exciting. Heritage Day is a really friendly, wonderful, hidden gem of a festival in Easton. So we hope people come out and enjoy it, get get some good food, check out our beautiful historic sites, but we're really looking forward to it. You can find out more information about Heritage Day, heritageday.org, and then we are sigalmuseum.org, so you can find a full listing.
Yeah, what I find brilliant about Passport History is the collaboration that it really fosters. I mean, with the Easton Cemetery and PAZA coming together, it's just a wonderful way for us all to come together, share our strengths, and really reach out to people and give them a fuller sense of the whole region's history. But if you're interested in coming to the National Canal Museum, either on July 10th or any other time, we're open Wednesday through Sunday through the rest of the summer, just head to our website. It's canals.org. It's a pretty easy one to remember.
I'm surprised you got that URL.
We've had it for ages.
You got it like when the internet started.
Benefit of being over 50 years old.
And I guess what I'd like to do is do a social media shout
Sure.
out. So the cemetery, Amy, I have to give a shout out to her, has done a phenomenal job with our Facebook page and our Instagram account. I really encourage you to follow them. It's not only just pictures of the cemetery, but she provides history, history moments, and you learn a lot. So we have that. We're also in the process of putting QR codes on all the points on our historic tour. So look for that when you're going through the cemetery. PAZA, they also have their website, so I encourage you to visit their PAZA for Life website. And the Master Gardeners, you can always find us on all the Penn State. We also have a new Facebook page and Instagram account for the Master Gardeners of the Lehigh Valley. So that's going to give you all kinds of information about plants and gardening in the Lehigh Valley, because Pennsylvania has many growing zones. So I encourage you, and if you're just still a little COVID shy, we're all outside. So come on up to the cemetery.
That's a good point. It's exciting and it's great. We're spoiled, and I always, say that. Like you're almost paralyzed with choice. We have so much, but it's good. Go there and pick one. Pick something to do. Get out one day and experience some of these places. We're really lucky to have them, and we're lucky to have an organization that. Because you're communicating with each other is making it better for everybody else, and you can find out more about it. So we're looking forward to Heritage Day, Passport to History Month. I'm so happy. This is a little unorthodox. We're trying out new things, but it's fun to be in person. While I do love talking to everybody virtually, I need to get out. So it's been fantastic. Megan, Daphne, and Sharon, thank you guys so much. And all of the links, all the 1 million links that we just put out there, you didn't have to memorize them. They're all in our show notes. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you at Heritage Day and throughout Lehigh Valley Passport to History Month. One more shout out to the Sigal Museum, National Canal Museum, Historic Easton Cemetery, Passport to History. Lehigh Valley Passport to History Month is July, lvhistory.org. We'll see you out there. We can't wait. Love you guys. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you to our sponsors. We'll catch you next week. Goodbye.